Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am playing Super Mario 64. I just realized I do not have... I hope you guys have been able to hear me this whole time. But today I am, I don't actually know if I need to be able to hear the music. I don't know if it makes a difference. Maybe I'll tuck it right here. Because I don't know where the microphone is picking up my volume from. Like, I don't know if it's coming from these headphones or if it's coming from just like the actual speaker on my computer. I really hope that my audio is not screwed up in all of these recordings because I will genuinely cry. But anyway, so today's story is kind of a short one. Sorry, I'm dropping my controller. So I don't know if I'm going to tell more than one story in this or what. But this was one that Alyssa wanted me to tell. The next two are actually stories about Alyssa, technically. But when I was pregnant with Lucas, Alyssa was 4 and Matthew was 8. And Alyssa spent most of my pregnancy very concerned that I was going to be in pain. Like, she would constantly ask me if labor hurt, and I wasn't gonna lie to her and tell her, oh no, labor doesn't hurt, because labor hurts. But I also didn't want to, like, freak her out, so, I told her, well, yeah, honey, it hurts a little bit, it's kind of like having a tummy ache, but mommy will be fine. And so, my plan was, because I didn't leave my children with my mother at that point. They were too young. Like, now it's fine because they're old enough. They have cell phones. They can call me if they need anything. But at the time, my children were not allowed to stay with my mother. So it wasn't like grandma was going to take the kids when mom had the baby. Everybody went to the hospital. My sisters were there. My mom was there. But nobody was in the room when I had Lucas. It was just me and my husband and my best friend Brenda. But nobody else was in the room, like, when I actually, like, gave birth, but they were there when I was laboring. Anyway, I had decided that I was going to have Lucas natural, with no, like, epidural, no pain medication, nothing like that, because, the epidural gives me panic attacks. Because even though I know that it's fine, because I have, like, pretty severe anxiety, both times that I had epidurals, I had really, really, really bad panic attacks. And that can be, like, that much stress on my body can be bad for the baby. Sorry, I'm trying to concentrate so I don't die. So I had decided with Lucas that I would rather not have any kind of pain medication at all. So I made the birth plan or whatever that you make with your doctor and opted to not have an epidural. So I knew it was going to hurt. And I was very, very, very nervous because it's already nerve-wracking to give birth, but to give birth. And also my whole thing was my whole thing is I was scared to have a C-section, because with a C-section they have to know you. And it gives me panic attacks. So I had opted to go natural, and then we were at the hospital and I was in labor, but like the contractions weren't too bad, and then obviously they steadily progressed and whatever. And I still continued to say no to pain medicine, and my kids were coming in. We had brought coloring books and stuff, and Alyssa was just a little 4-year-old, so she wanted to hang out with her mom as much as possible, and I was doing my best to not show her that I was in pain. And I was pretty far into my labor at this point, and I was pretty far into my labor at this point. I think shortly after this moment, I actually got to the point where I started pushing. But I was dilated, I don't know, probably like 8 at this point. And the contractions were very, very, very close and very, very, very intense. And every single time Alyssa came in or came up to me, I smiled and grit my teeth and pretended like it was all good. And then she comes up to me with a book and she asks me if I will read her this story. And, you know, people are trying to whisk her away and telling her, you know, oh, you know, how about if Grandma reads you the book, or how about if Aunt whoever reads you the book, or all this. And I was like, no, guys, you know, it's fine. I'll read her the book. And so I read her the book while I was going through contractions. I still to this day don't know how I managed to make her stop. Or I mean, make her stop. I don't know how I managed to like make her think that I was fine and that I wasn't like in agony. But I did. I read the book to her while going through I remember the nurse coming in and looking at like the monitor, and she's like, you're having a contraction right now, do you feel it? And I was like, and she just kind of looked at me like, are you kidding me right now? You're like reading your child a story while you're going through a massive contraction, and oh my god, I was in so much pain, let me tell you. Like now I can tell my daughter, you know, about how much agony I was in, but at the time, of course, I had to pretend like it was perfectly fine. And yeah, it was quite an experience trying to pretend like I wasn't in pain. But like they were concerned, like, you know, my kids were worried. They didn't want their mom to hurt, and I didn't want them to like see me in pain and like resent their brother because he caused me pain, or you know what I mean. And like they didn't. They absolutely adored Lucas when he was born. I remember them thanking me for having him, which I thought was kind of weird. But you're welcome, guys. You still thank me? I'm just kidding. We love Lucas. But I'm really bad at this level. Like really bad. Embarrassingly. What is going on with me? Alright, let's try this again. But, yeah, I definitely had epidurals with my other two. But that is why I wanted to stop at 3 kids, because, I was always worried that there was a chance that I could have, a C-section. And C-sections terrify me. Like, moms that have C-sections are like, I don't even know, they're way stronger than me. Like, I do not know how they do that. I genuinely do not know how moms who have C-sections do it. Like, that to me is like, that's like S-tier birthing. Like, I can't do it. Well, I mean, I'm sure I could do it if I had to. I wouldn't have a choice, but, oh, that was always like my biggest fear is having, because like, it's so much harder. Like, not only do you like have to be cut open, like you have to, you have no choice but to have, you know, a spinal block or whatever. Then you have to have surgery. Like, they literally cut you open. Then yeah, they put your baby on your chest, but it's not like you get to sit there and hold the baby the whole time. They have to whisk it away so that, you know, you can be stitched up. And then not only are you recovering from, you know, giving birth, but then you also have stitches, and I don't know, it's just, it's a lot. I do not know how people do that. I genuinely, like, oh, to me it's insane. Like, good for C-section moms. I really wish I would have just done it. I don't know, if you've ever given birth and you've had a C-section, you have my respects, let me tell you. I do not know how people do that. It's just, yeah, so that's, Alyssa really wanted me to tell you guys the story of reading a book to her while I was in labor. Because every time she, like, hears that story, she's like, I do not know how you managed to hide from me that you were in so much pain. So I'm gonna put that you. Like, Alyssa was very, very sensitive. Alyssa was very sensitive to, like, me being in pain. Like for years and years and years, I could not cry anywhere near that child because her brain could not handle it. Alright, cool. Speaking of Melissa, she just texted me. Okay, sorry. They're at visitation with their father, so I have to respond when they text me, just in case they need something. So yeah. That's that story time. Is labor with Lucas. That was great. And oh, what's really funny is because of the fact that we did not leave the kids with people. We didn't leave them with my sisters. We didn't leave them with my mom. Like we didn't leave them with his family. We didn't leave them with anybody. So after I gave birth to Lucas, and everybody, like, you know, he was actually born, and everybody got to see him and hug him and all that, or not hug him, hold him. My ex-husband left and brought the kids home. Like, he wasn't my ex-husband at the time, obviously, he was still my husband. But he left and brought the kids back home, Matthew and Alyssa, and I stayed in the hospital with the baby, just all by myself. And I figured at the time that, you know, I'd be nursing the baby and feeding the baby, or nursing and feeding are the same thing. Nursing the baby and changing the baby and, you know, staying up with the baby and all that kind of stuff. And that I would be entertained, so I didn't really bring a lot of stuff with me to the hospital. Like, I didn't bring books, I didn't really bring much of anything. And let me tell you, I regretted that. Because my son slept the entire first 24 hours of his life. Whole thing. So, yeah. It was so boring. Anyway, I'm going to end this here. I'm going to beat this level in the next video. And if I don't, I will do it off camera because I'm annoyed with this level over and over and over again. So anyway, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And follow me on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. Thank you. Bye.